Okay, folks, we're going to go ahead and get started here in high definition, which means it'll, on my slow DSL line, it'll take all night to upload this to YouTube, but hopefully it'll look a lot better. So I'll take a stab at, now this can get dangerous sometimes, but I'm going to take a stab at IDing everybody. I've got Barry, KY-4K, Bob, KI-4JWK. Now correct me if I make any mistakes. Bruce, KM4EHU. I get James, WA9MED. And I don't have them written down here in order. I get Brad, WA4HBM. And I get Pete, K2UPD, and Bill, N4LG. And I see a latecomer there is Sean, K4PSD. And then over here I get in the blue, Big Blue Nation blue is Bill, N4DIT. And then I get JB, WA4WWH. Did I get anybody wrong?
I think you left out a couple on this side, didn't you?
Oh, that's right, yeah. Okay, well, I got the Smoky and
David.
that's right. From D's Cafe the other day, yeah. I see W9KZ KHZ. Right, okay. Yeah, you'd think so. Okay, one thing that I've been intending to do but forgetting is talk about birthdays and upgrades and stuff. Now that guy right there, WA4HBM, has a birthday on Saturday. Any other birthdays?
39.
Yeah,
There you go.
Is that 1939?
that makes me 15, so.
26th of this month.
Huh? 26th of this month? Okay, good. You're buying everybody coffee that Saturday, right? Okay, how about upgrades, anything like that? Okay, how about, does anybody know of anybody in sick bay or, anybody that's sick or anything? I think Loretta has been feeling a little better here lately with gotten over some of her stuff. Okay. Now I want to go ahead and go directly to Pete because he's got some important stuff. You want to tell us about your Kids Day? This is really cool. Coming up. Looking for volunteers, folks.
What?
Yeah, Kids Day is an annual event put on by ARRL, which this year is going to fall on June 18th, Saturday. And what it involves, I understand Bars Club did one of these some years ago, Smoky.
Yeah,
Last year.
Was it last year?
no, we did not do a Kids Day last year. The Kids Day went off, Harry was here, so it was about 2005, 2006. Pat Hayden was here, he had his truck out, his Jeep out there, he was doing four-wheel drive stuff, and the kids just loved it.
I was thinking about the one where had the scouts come in.
Well, hang on, I was going to mention that too.
Okay.
Joda contacted me today to go on and register, okay, for next October, so that we can do Joda here at here, and we get to choose frequencies because we did it last year. So I'm going to need suggestions on that, Bruce.
Okay.
But anyhow, tell us about what you need.
The purpose of this is to introduce young people to ham radio. And as all our clubs are battling, the kids are getting their attention and becoming interested in something that many of us grew up with, but many of us got inactive because of sports or girls and family or whatever in the meantime, and some of us dropped out by the wayside. But anyway, to introduce kids to the hobby, ARL came up with what they call this Kids Day. And the challenge that we have is the publicity of how we're going to we can find these kids and how we're going to promote this thing so that we can get a turnout of young people. And then following up on that, have enough Elmers available to sponsor or to proctor the kids that do express further interest. And one of these things would be inviting them to our field day site, which is just a week later. But Bruce and Smokey and myself, we just started working on this project for the bars and the jaws and possibly other areas to cooperate in. And Bruce gave me the name of a fellow in Nicholasville who happens to be the Central Kentucky, I guess you'd call it manager or whatever for the Boy Scouts of America. Activities director is what his title is. And I talked to him on the telephone. He seems very interested in working with us and very excited. He works at UKY, or UK campus somewhere. I've not yet met with him personally, but I've talked to him on the phone, and we're going to get together and as a committee or as a group, hopefully, and come up with some ideas of how we can approach schools, find out what teachers might already be hams or what teachers might be interested in exposing this product to their students. And then hopefully build a group that would then on Kids Day come here to the bar's shack, for example, and weather permitting, have a outside QRP set up that kids could look at and expose them to our hobby, especially the digital and SDR cameras, because the da-da-da-da-da-da-da is going to come out a whole lot of people. Sideband, repeaters, and that kind of thing, great. But the kids are in tune already with the SDR type and digital type of stuff. So anyway, that's what we're working on, and at this point in time, I don't know how many or where they're going to come from or whatever, and more shall be revealed.
How should anybody that would be interested in helping you on the QRP part, what's your preferred way for them to get in touch with you, Pete?
Email probably, or telephone, either way.
Okay. What email address?
K2UPD@AOL.com.
AOL.com, okay. Okay, because there's people that'll be watching, that are not here, will be watching this recording and might be interested in helping out. So everybody give that consideration, and if you think that you might be able to come out that day, June the 18th, a Saturday, right?
Right.
And it's here, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. And there's trees out here in the parking lot and stuff like that. So if you think that you'd be interested in helping with that, get in touch with Pete. I'm sure he'd appreciate it.
If you have contacts who are in touch with kids, young people, or that maybe or know how to contact these people, because going from school to school is going to be a monster job with flyers or whatever, and half of them you'll be thrown out of, and the other half, end up in the dustbin. But if we can narrow in who to approach, like the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, or maybe there's some clubs, young youth clubs, or somebody maybe in contact with that could help get this process going. Yo.
Yeah, JB.
One comment about the flyers for schools, you can forget that. I belong to a storytelling organization. We were going to get flyers for school. You got to get flyers for every single child in the school, the whole county. So, you might have 100,000 flyers and 50,000. I forget that.
The rules of schools.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, appreciate that, Pete. Anything else? Anybody with any questions for Pete about that coming up? Okay, is that everything we need to talk about there on that before we move on?
No, we'll be organizing, of course, the shack and all of that kind of stuff as time goes on. But the first thing is to try to get the program out there in lights. They have a pretty certificate, the ARRL hands out. It's a certificate of participation. which is kind of nice. And there's a logo which you might be able to use in some of these free advertising, like Living Well, or some of the family magazines that come out monthly where you can get free listings and stuff like that. The logo there is kind
This
of,
goes to each of the kids that participate?
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Or we can do our own thing or something, or some kind of badge. Now, one important thing with the Scouts, they do have a radio merit badge. And part of that merit badge requirements is the kid has to pick one of 3 different activities that they need to pursue for the merit badge. And one is amateur radio, another is broadcast radio, which most of them are probably going to, that aren't involved with ham radio are going to do. And the other one is shortwave listening. This involves hours and hours of logging and really making notes on what you hear, what bands, you know, so, and the introduction to all the Scout Radio Merit Badge is information that, you know, novices would normally have about propagation and frequencies and modes of operation and things like that. So it's pretty intense here, especially if they pick the amateur radio or the shortwave listening formats to complete their merit badge with.
Okay, anything else on the subject of Kids Day? So give that serious consideration. I'm sure Pete can use the help. Concerning field events, well, I'd been, since we didn't meet in March, I've been making notes. February the 20th, Glenn and Roger went to Shilto Park, I guess, and neither one of them is here. Roger went in March, and he's not here. One thing I did find out about yesterday, for everybody to keep in the back of their minds, is that N4CVG, John over in Clark County, and WD4GPO, Pete in Bourbon County, are working on a field event to be held out on John's place, which is out in the country. It will be on a Saturday, and they're thinking late April, early May. And I think it's one of these things where they kind of want to maybe wait until we get an idea about what the weather is doing during that time frame. So keep that in the back of your mind. I had to miss it the last time that I think KY-QRP went to N4CVG's place a couple of years ago, and I had to miss it. I was out of town, but I understand it's really nice, and plenty of trees and plenty of space to throw up antennas. And Brad and I have talked about maybe going out pretty soon and doing some field work someplace. So I'm waiting for him, since he's the weather guy, I'm waiting for him to tell me when the weather is going to cooperate. So has anybody in here done some field work, you know, so far this year? You know, we've had some nice weather at times.
Well, I went out to Veterans Park, turned my radio all the way down to 5 watts
Oh, cool.
in the truck, and sat there and made 25 contacts.
Awesome.
Most of them were Summit on the air.
Okay.
I was kind of surprised, but it seemed like it was so quiet over there, I could hear everybody that was low wattage.
Oh, yeah.
And they were all
Nice quiet
KY-QRP.
place. Uh-huh.
So, and it was where we do our field day.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Other than that, just thought I'd throw that one in.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I want to hear.
What band?
Huh?
What band were you?
20 and 40. So 40 was mostly during the day that it was actually working. It was quiet. I mean, I can go up there and turn on 80 meters and it's noisy all over town.
That
Yeah.
was your little stick antenna.
Well, yeah, the antenna that I have on the truck.
The one where you changed the jumpers.
Well, yeah, that's 20 and 40. I had to get out of the truck to change from 20 to 40. But yeah,
That's impressive.
yeah.
But you can tell truck.
Exactly. This was right before a pool drain broke on me, so.
Okay, anybody else with any, that's more than I thought I was gonna hear, that's cool. Anybody else with any field work to report, or, does anybody have any plans? You know, I'm always saying, you know, during the winter, any of you going to the Bahamas or anything, anybody? Did you went to Costa Rica, right? You just had to come back a little earlier than you'd hoped?
Correct.
Well, did you run QRP while you were there?
No, I decided not to take the rig because the first two locations would have been problematic for an antenna.
Okay.
The last location would have been great for the antenna, but so I said, well, go through all the hassle and possibly customs hassles and things to bring equipment down there and power supplies and all that stuff. So I said, maybe next time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But on future plans, probably here in the next month or so, Glenn, Roger, and possibly others, we may go down and activate one of the knobs down around Berea.
Okay.
And when we did that at Limestone Knob up in the Banyan Boone National Forest last fall, that was a whole lot of fun. We just had a ball. The sideband guys didn't make many contacts, but I made about 20 contacts on the KY-QRP with just an end-fed antenna showing up in the tree and an 817. It was a lot of fun, and it really wasn't all that mountain climbing or anything like the guys out west do. And well, the knobs only get 1 point, so but we had a bunch of chasers, and one of the first stations that called me on 20CW was from Spain. So that'll let you know that they're out there and they're listening. And you can work them. And I don't know which hill we need to find one that Glenn might be able to negotiate, but right there around Berea, there's a couple of them that the drive up is fairly close to the knob, so that's the plan right now.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else with any plans to do any field work, definitive plans anytime soon? Okay, well, before we get too far down the pike, we need to schedule our April luncheon. Being an even-numbered month, we'll be at Denny's right out here. And I was going to suggest, of course, it's always on a Thursday. I was going to suggest April the 21st for that. For anybody that wants to attend the luncheon, is that a problem? Do you have a problem with that date? And try to get as many people, try to avoid as many conflicts, for those who would like to attend. So I think that's what we'll just go ahead and do. So that's kind of all I had in the way of an agenda. We've got about 5 minutes left before Bars takes over. Anybody really with anything related to QRP, do antennas, kits, equipment? Pete, you've been posting a lot of good stuff to the Yahoo group about gear and stuff like that. Anything that you've come across recently that's interesting?
Well, the soda guys have been posting a lot of information on the magnetic loops,
Okay.
which I find interesting. And Glenn's got one of those. He's got one of those from the Brazilian guy. I guess he pretty much started that whole mess. But it's very interesting, especially now where we've got a lot of noise on the bands that the nulls, which are 90 degrees, in other words, if the magnetic loop is lined up like this, the major signal is going to be front and back this way, and the nulls are going through this way with the loop being like this. So that you can actually, and for the QRPers on SOTA, they found it extremely useful that if they're trying to, a chaser is having trouble working them, just by turning the antenna slightly, they can get rid of the noise that's bothering them and zero in like a beam on the signal, which I thought for a little magnetic loop, which in 3 feet, in diameter, is pretty awesome. And I thought that was of interest.
Okay. Anybody else with anything, antennas? Bruce, you've been doing some antenna construction. Any,
Nothing new.
nothing really new?
No, but I've got some ideas, but it was tax season, so I had to set everything aside for a while.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Alrighty. So one last call, anything related to equipment, antennas, or just really anything related to QRP? Otherwise, we'll get out of the way and let bars have their meeting. So thank you all. It was a slow arriving group, but ended up being a pretty big group, so I sure do appreciate it. And watch for yourself in high definition on YouTube here in a few days. If I can upload it on my slow DSL.